Hi, so I'm Jackie Diggins, and this is the covered video study guide. This is session 5. So if you're just starting this, um, go back, and I do have session 1 up to 5 so far. So be sure to get in on the first chapter. And if you haven't already got my book, it's called Covered Living in Triumph While Going Through Trials. And there's also a Covered on a Deeper Level study guide bonus material that goes with this book. There's questions and uh, things that will help you go deeper in the message of this book. So it's my story, but God's message. And so I'm glad to have you here. I also want to share real quick, if you haven't seen already too, I have a devotional out, and it's called What If You Believed? 31 Beliefs to Act On from the Living Word to Bring About Life Change. And so if you are, this is devotional style, 31 day. If you haven't already got it, be sure to get it for a friend. It's life changing as well. It's um, perspective and things of verses that God gave me to help change my life as a mom of 10 children, married for 30 years. Um, I ran business, homeschooled, also have kids in the public school. So anyway, but I just share in here, and it's for anyone. It's not just for parents or moms or anything. It's for anyone that wants to go deeper in their faith. So I would encourage you to get that. They're on Amazon, and I will be sharing links in the different places too, but they are on Amazon. So anyway, we're on chapter 5. This chapter is titled Overwhelmed with 3 Kids. Okay, so when I had 3 kids, God, through another mom who had 6 kids at the time, just encouraged me as a parent. And I didn't know I was raising a large family at the time, but it was after that that God spoke to me about what about raising a large family. And so anyway, my husband and I agreed, and we just decided we would take one at a time. So we have 10 children, one at a time, no twins. Um, and we had the 10 children in 20 years, basically, every other year. So anyway, that's where I'm at. And I remember this lady that I met telling me children are a blessing, because I was overwhelmed, right, with the 3 kids. And the lady was, they're a blessing. I'm like, how do you do 6 kids? And she said, they're a blessing. And so that started me on a track. Here's Psalm 127:3. Behold, children are a heritage and a gift from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. So looking at my children as a reward, as a blessing, that they are for my life. I didn't want to sit and think negatively of them, or, oh no, they're doing this, because that's part of training them, but just to consider them a blessing in my life, and that they are a reward and a heritage from the Lord. So, what if you grabbed onto that verse as well, whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, or even an uncle, aunt, whatever it is, you're around kids probably at some point, but just consider them a blessing. And even if you don't have ones of your own, consider children a blessing from the Lord, and speak into their lives. So I wanted to read this verse. It's Matthew 22:36-39. This is on page 52 of the book. It's chapter 5 of the Covered on a Deeper Level, the study guide workbook that goes with this book. "Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?" And Jesus replied to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. That is, unselfishly seek the best or higher good of others." Then I have James 2:8. "If, however, you are really fulfilling the royal law according to the scripture, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. That is, if you have an unselfish concern for others and do things for their benefit, you are doing well." So I wanted to share this. So when I was first having my children, remember I was an overwhelmed mom of three, I was struggling with the thought of um, loving them, and yeah, we can all say, yeah, I love my kids, I love them, I love this, whatever. But what I was struggling with is that I wasn't feeling love like I wanted to. And it got me on a quest of finding out why, like what was blocking that. And so that can sound strange as a parent, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that has felt that. Why am I not feeling the love like I want to? And it's not all about feelings, so it's a choice too. But I was wondering why I was struggling in that area. So if you look at this verse from Matthew 22, it talks about loving God being the first commandment. So when I said about, okay, God, so how do I love you? And it says with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And in some verses, it talks about, or versions, it talks about with all your strength. So I chose to love God. And what that would look like is I would say, I love you, God. And I would put like an action to it, like my strength into it. And really like just went to gratefulness and thankfulness for all that he had done for me. And so that's the start of walking in love. We love because he first loved us. So it's the first commandment is love the Lord your God. So that's a choice. We choose to love God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, with all of our mind, with all of our strength. And you can put an action to it like that, and that helps solidify it. It helps it get in your heart. So then it talks about the second is like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So I was like, okay, so this loving myself, I don't know that I do. Like we know all of our stuff. We know the things, the thoughts we have, the things that we've done wrong, the things we should have done, and we almost hold ourselves captive of I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy of love. I can't love myself. I'm a bad person, whatever it is that you go to. But I realized that in order for me to love my children or other people like I wanted to, I had to first love myself. And so what that looked like was um, for me to receive God's love for me. So that takes also just like, okay, dropping all the things that I know about myself, why he shouldn't love me, and receiving his love for myself, um, just sitting in that place, all of the imperfections, all of the things that we've done wrong, and just be loved. So it's like we start from that place of love. And it reminds me of that verse, and I'm not sure of the reference, but while we were still sinners, he died for us. So he loved us before we changed, right? Before we were um, changing our life and um, choosing to love him, even he loved us. So it's the thought of, while you're in that place of doing wrong or being wrong, whatever, will you receive his love for you? And then, because you know the value that you are to God, will you then love yourself? And it has nothing to do with what you've done, what you're like, whatever. Will you just love God, receive his love for you, know that you are worthy because he said you are, know that you're accepted, know that you're loved because he said you are, and then accept yourself, love yourself, receive his love for you, and just be in that place. Because then that allows you to love others. So it almost brings you to the place where you don't have to have other people do certain things or be a certain way or accept you some way to be loved. You already are. So then, in the case of children, if they're misbehaving or not obeying or something, you don't go, oh no, they're not doing this, so I'm not feeling loved. You come from a place of love so you can love them in that place, right? When they're not acting the right way, right? When they're not doing the right thing, you can love them and then act on that love by training them, disciplining them, whatever it is. And it's the same with other people. When they don't accept you, you're not looking for acceptance. You're not looking for love from anyone else because you're fully loved by him. And so anyone that he brings into your life, you are okay because you're already loved, and then you can love them. So anyway, I hope that helps in that area. I think that that was a huge thing for me on that track of loving my children, loving my spouse, loving other people, was to accept his love for me and then start from that place. So I wanted to read this quote. The reason a person isn't willing to receive God's love is because they don't see their worth. Okay, and that's what we just talked about. And then down below that on page 53, we need to be able to say thank you to him for his love. It's a gift. It's a just because gift. A while we were still sinners gift. Will you receive it and be open to his amazing unconditional love? That's a question for you to ask. Will you receive his love for you? Sometimes we can be like, no, I'm good. I won't receive it. I've done too many things wrong. But he's saying, no, I've loved you while you were still a sinner. I died for you then. So it's humbling ourselves and just going, okay, I receive that from you. And then it says in the book, I put, if you won't, you're saying no to him because he is love. Okay, so what if you say yes to God, yes to love, yes to receiving his love and sitting in it and starting up from a place of love? On my YouTube channel, I share the Being Loved Encounter. So you can find that, go subscribe, find it. And I walk you through what that looks like of a person being loved by God, receiving his love. So I just wanted to mention that. So then in Romans 5:8, it says, but God clearly shows and proves his own love for us by the fact that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So there's that verse that I mentioned earlier. It's Romans 5:8. I didn't think I had that with me, but here it is right in the book. So yeah, just while you were still sinners, while you were still doing wrong, He loved you. So receive that love. Okay, and then on page 56 of the book and in chapter 5 of the covered on a deeper level bonus material, without this path, without raising this large family, without all the trials, I would have never reached the place of leaning and relying on God as I do. So, what if you're thankful for the trials that come across your path? What if those trials are meant to separate you unto God? What if that's what they're meant for? They're not meant to drag you down. They're not meant to destroy your life, right? Which sometimes it can feel like, oh my goodness, what is this doing? But it's meant to separate you as unto God. So will you embrace the trials that come and look at how you can rise up in them, how you can grow in endurance, how you can grow in the fruits of the Spirit, and make them work for you, almost make them a benefit in your life rather than something you're wishing away. Okay? Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. So, as you draw near to God, He is drawing near to you. He's coming close. It's not a long road, excuse me, to get to God. He's right there. As you're drawing near to Him, He's coming toward you. And it's an amazing place of just your love there. And he walks with you through His word, through believing His word, through applying His word. So what if you let what you go through draw you near to God? Okay? He will meet you right there. And look at what are you doing? Like, cleanse your hands, you sinners. It says, what are you doing that you need to clean yourself of, that you need to drop, that you need to stop doing? That's what He's saying here. Okay? Stop doing the wrong that He's showing you, right? If you don't know, ask Him. He'll show you what things you're doing wrong. And then purify your heart. Who haven't you forgiven? Okay, who do you need to say sorry to, or forgive yourself, right? Because that keeps us from being single-minded. Like, it keeps us from focusing on God when we've got all this stuff swirling, this unforgiveness, this doing things that are wrong, that are sinful. It has one foot in the world and one foot with God. Well, we need to be all in for God. And I think that's what God's asking us now is, I want you all in. There's no more lukewarm. There's no more just kind of love God here today and then not there tomorrow. But no, all in for God. Jump all in with Him and stop being lukewarm. He wants to spew us out of His mouth, right? When we are being lukewarm. And when we grow in our trials, they'll make you, the word tells us, making us mature and complete, lacking nothing. Will you choose to do that? And my motto from quite earlier on has been, I don't want to go through the same thing the same way again. So the thought was, so trials are coming, right? Trouble is in this world, the word tells us, but Jesus has overcome the world. Okay, so He says, take heart. I have overcome the world. So what if you grow through the next trial and you decide, okay, I know another trial is going to come. It may not be the exact same kind, but it's similar principles of getting through them, right? And so, what if you choose growth? What if you choose to rise up in it and be patient with it and walk with God through the trial? And then when the next one comes, you are stronger. You have more strength to get through it. You have a closer walk with God to get through it, right? You have more wisdom. You have more grace. You've got all the fruits of the Spirit that you've grown in through the other trials, and that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to grow up in our faith. And so I just encourage you to do that wherever you're at today, to just start choosing growth. And if you're stuck in an area, maybe you need to work with somebody for a season one-on-one and get clear of the things that have happened in your past and toward moving forward and running your race. And I'll just put this out there. I'm a covenant life coach. I help people throw off the weights and sin that have been entangling them, throw off the things that are weighing you down, forget the past, like the word tells us, so that you can reach the high call of God. I help people do that. And so feel free to reach out to me and message me if you're one in that place, because it's not worth staying there. What does that do? Going in the same circle or staying in that same rut? It's time to move forward. I want to share with you James 1:2-4 again. This is the theme verse of this book, and it's the New King James Version. The main version I use in this book is the Amplified, and so most of the scriptures come from there, but some of them I switched up so that you could see another version as well. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be mature and complete, lacking nothing. And that's James 1:2-4. So I just want to encourage you to look at children as a blessing wherever you're at, whether you're a school teacher, you're a mom, you're a grandparent, an aunt or uncle, a, a parent yourself. I maybe already said that, but wherever you're at with children, just look at them as a blessing and speak into their lives. And then choose growth through trials. Draw near to God. Cleanse your hands. Purify your heart. Let go of unforgiveness. Let go of things that you're doing wrong. And step toward God. Walk with Him. And He's right there for you. He's with you in this journey of faith and of growth in Him. So if you would like to go through my book with a group, I do a free 7-week covered group coaching. So I take 2 chapters at a time and I go through the group. I'm doing it, I think, throughout this year. So if you're interested, I'll be starting another one toward the end of May or first part of June of 2023. So anyway, it's a great chance to connect and move forward in your faith. And so I would encourage you to consider that. Also, if you've got my book, leave a review on Amazon for me. That helps it get farther out there, and share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you in the next video session. Love you. Talk to you soon.